And welcome back to Conservative News Channel on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have two topics of news we're going to be discussing. The first is going to be about Twitter and Facebook and Google and their strive to censor conservatives, which, as we've all seen over the last 6 months, has also been expanded to include Christianity. First, we'll hit that topic, and then next we're going to talk about the red wave with an update that I think you guys are going to be very happy with. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's start with censorship. I think it was 2012, yeah it was, there it says it, where Tony Wang basically said that we are the free speech wing of the Free Speech Party. Well, apparently a reporter remembered that and brought it up to Jack Dorsey, and Jack Dorsey said, oh, that motto was just a joke. You see, the bad thing about leftists is they are communists. And communists know they can't win in the theater of ideas. As a result, they have to censor, they have to create anger, they have to get everybody mad at everybody so that they can control. And they can't do that with free speech. You get conservatives online where a person who's not quite sure they're a socialist and they think, oh my God, the conservatives are right, this is wrong. So if you take away the ability to get other opinions, you end off with just one opinion, and that's how socialism works. It amazes me that Democrats have gone so far as to convince corporate America that they need to remove right-wing thought of any size, shape, or form. Yet at the same time, you see ISIS recruiting online. Interesting that they don't want to censor that kind of stuff. You see people saying, kill the white male. Well, that's not censorable either, because that's in line with the violence of the left wing these days. So really, if you're not conservative and you're not a white male, you can say anything you want to. White females are starting to get censored as well, so it turns out only liberal white females will be allowed to speak freely, not conservative white females. Facebook is far ahead of Jack Dorsey in his little scam to remove conservative values and religion from the internet. Facebook's doing everything. They're removing people, where Jack Dorsey at least tells you, oh, we're just going to not let people look at your post. Or we're going to suspend you for a week and we'll let you back if you don't say anything bad again. The reason I decided to bring this topic up wasn't because it's right, it's wrong, we all know it's wrong, the First Amendment. The reason I brought it up is because the Supreme Court is taking a case that could end internet censorship and expand the First Amendment. You'll hear a lot of Democrats talking about, oh, they're corporations, they don't have to comply with the First Amendment. Well, that is absolutely not true. You see, there is a law that was created just for Facebook, just for Google, just for YouTube, and that law basically says that as long as you allow the free and open expression of ideas on your platform, that you will not be held liable for anyone that posts anything in your platform. In other words, no censorship. You can let anyone say anything and someone can't sue you. Now, when you start censoring, it changes that law, and this is why. Because you become a publisher. And as a publisher on the internet, you become liable for everything you do. In other words, they can either offer the First Amendment and be libel-free, or take the First Amendment away and allow every corporation that has the money to do it to sue you, and if you get millions or hundreds of millions in awards, you have to pay it. This is not the beginning and end of the battle with these big companies, because in the beginning you can expect that they'll probably say, let's pay a few dollars in legal fees and see where it goes. But when Congress next year starts working on other changes to the law, along with what is likely to be a very solid decision by the Supreme Court, I think the days of censorship will soon be over. Probably a year is my guess, the way the government works. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about the big red wave. Right now, we're all looking for things that tell us the red wave's coming. You're still hearing about the blue wave, the blue wave. You're still hearing about Pelosi taking the House of Representatives. You're hearing that because of the Kavanaugh effect, the Republicans may get 2, maybe 3 Senate seats. But we've been looking for hardcore evidence that suggests that the Democrats are in for nothing but shock come Election Day. Well, I found it. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 5 states that publish their early voting returns. I went through all 5 of the states, and they are all identical within small percentage points of how the data appears. Because of that, and because they are in western, northern, and southern states scattered around, I am guessing that all the other states that aren't publishing that data probably look the same way. Well, as you roll into the 2018 election cycle, what you're really expecting for when you look at this data is you're looking for weakness from 2016, because that's the way it always is. Voters don't vote as often in off-year elections as they do presidential elections. As I looked at the data from each different state, and I looked at the Democrats and compared them to 2016, which you're not supposed to do because you are expecting a drop, I found a drop. In fact, I found a drop very close in percentage to the drop that occurred between 2012 and 2014. Then I looked at the early ballots for the Republican Party. Shockingly enough, I compared them to 2016. And I was even more shocked when I realized what I was looking at. Republican early ballots received exceed the rate of 2016. So at this point, when you look at early ballots, you have a Republican Party showing up stronger than they did in a presidential election year, and you have Democrats showing up weaker than that same presidential election year. What you expect is what you see in the Democrat side, and you would expect it to be with Republicans as well if Republicans weren't motivated to vote. But guess what? All early indications are that the red wave is coming. Unfortunately, only 2 states gave some information as to voter changes and early voting ballots, as to whether they voted, if they had changed from Republican to Democrat or Democrat to Republican, and who they voted for. Well, with the data that's available and the individuals who have voted, which is not an extremely large number, what you see is by a 2-to-1 margin, Democrats switching to the Republican Party. That is another phenomenal thing. And what it also tells us is the majority of the party switchers will be showing up on Election Day. So ladies and gentlemen, as we go into these last 2 weeks, and you see all of these scare headlines that have you convinced that the Democrats are going to rock and roll, laugh and enjoy. Just do me one favor. Don't forget to vote. It does require all of us working to support the mega team in Washington. With that said, God bless, and I hope you all take the time to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.